But first to the growing number of frustrated Australian patients jumping the long queues for surgery by flying to Asia instead. Brady Halls joins us live with the details. Brady?
Thanks, Trace. Good evening, everyone. Yes, each year tens of thousands of Aussies travel overseas because of the ever-increasing waitlist times and the astronomical costs of the Australian hospital system. Tonight, we follow the journey of one young Australian man who's had a gutful of waiting and living in pain 24/7. He's a young Australian man on a desperate mission, a Queenslander who says, like many, he's been let down by the Australian health system.
I've had to leave Australia and my home and come here to a developing third world country just in order to get better.
B. Carmine has arrived at the largest private hospital in Southeast Asia.
Yeah. Hi, doctor. Did that fit? Okay. How are you?
Because he can't keep living the way he has.
When they're in pain, they just don't want to wait. They want to move for that.
It's completely understandable that patients want to go overseas.
That's all I really want to get back into the ocean, back surfing.
The surf wasn't big on that fateful day, but the dump from one wave dislocated his arm and ripped his tendons and nerves to shreds.
They're not even attached to each other.
Bede runs a t-shirt business called Smile. Every one he sells, he donates a school uniform to an underprivileged school or an overseas orphanage. But his smile hides a lot of pain. Since that accident, he holds his left arm by his side, unable to raise it or lift a thing.
That's all I want, just to get my arm back.
2 tendons severed, the remaining 2 stretched like a rubber band.
I was told that if I wanted to live a life like this, on a computer and not moving my arm, then no problem, I wouldn't need surgery. But if I wanted to ever regain the mobility in the arm fully, I would 100% need surgery.
It's been pulled right out. Like most Australians, Bede is not in a health fund. So with his arm hanging by a thread, he sought treatment through the Australian public hospital system. The prognosis was horrendous.
Through the public system, I was told that I could be on a waiting list for 3 or more years.
He has struggled over the last 2 months, and while he could join a health fund, his condition is pre-existing, so there would be a year's wait. The third option was to pay for it, but 2 Australian surgeons told him the same thing.
He would still need a 3-month wait before I could get in and have the operation with him.
And that period could be even longer if the theatre times blow out.
Yeah.
So he began searching overseas for other alternatives.
The Australian health system's got it so wrong that this could be, or is, the best option for me.
And there was an added bonus. The operation overseas would be significantly cheaper.
If I'm paying for it either way, then I'm going to get it done as soon as possible. I would have hoped that being in Australia that I could rely on our system for fast operation or quick, no wait periods.
I've waited 1,890.5 days for surgery.
Over the years, A Current Affair has reported on the suffering of people.
This really needs an overhaul. I am so sorry.
Waiting in pain.
It's excruciating.
For their turn in the public hospital system.
It pulls through the groin. Every step is pain.
Delays are often so long, conditions deteriorate.
That had it been attended to earlier, there might have been a better outcome.
And Steve Hamilton of the Australian Medical Association says it's not getting better.
We've got people who've got serious diseases who need to get into hospital, who simply are waiting an enormously long time, and that's getting longer, not shorter.
Bede didn't want to be another victim of the waiting game.
So stay in Oz, happily, but I want the operation as soon as possible.
So he researched everything he could on premium Asian
surgery.
hospitals.
Everyone who I know who's been there has been happy with the service, been happy with the hospitals, been happy with the cleanliness, been happy with the surgeons that they've used.
He settled on a hospital in Bangkok, Thailand, where I followed him on his mission to get better.
I'm not really nervous at all.
And he's not alone. Last year, more than 500,000 foreigners came to Bumrungrad Hospital.
This is a major injury. Dealing with
12 hours after he lands, he meets his doctor for the first time.
Before it was there, now it's here.
Bede's scans were sent over a week ago, and Dr. Winyu, an orthopaedic surgeon of 20 years' experience, believes he can return Bede to good health.
We're confident with that.
And that's it.
Thank you, doctor. See you tomorrow.
Yes, see you.
See you tomorrow.
Just 18 hours after meeting his doctor for the first time, he's off for surgery. Let's just think about that for a moment. Back home in Australia, the public hospital wait for his operation was up to 3 years, and at least 3 or 4 months if he paid.
Mate, I'm ready to go, ready to have the operation.
You've got to come back out. His surgery is complex. It's a 4-hour procedure that goes into the night. And Bede is not the only foreigner having surgery today. Right now, dozens of overseas patients are being operated on in theatres on several floors. Last year, in just this hospital, nearly 1,000 Australians had surgery, nearly all wanting to jump the waitlist queue back home, and more often than not, getting it done for a fraction of the cost.
Some of these hospitals are as good as any you'll get in Australia.
Andrew McDonald is not only a New South Wales MP, but a doctor.
There are hundreds of thousands of people in Australia on surgical waiting lists.
He's not alone on his comments. Professor Karen Phelps is a former AMA president.
The out-of-pocket costs for elective surgery in Australia, even if you're insured, can run into the thousands of dollars.
But they both have concerns should something go wrong when you've come back home.
About 10% of patients having surgery have something go wrong. That can sometimes be minor, that can sometimes be serious.
Professor Phelps has this advice.
They need to make sure that the doctor that they're seeing is very experienced and well qualified and registered in that country. We also need to make sure that the facility, the hospital that they're going to have the operation, is fully accredited.
Hospitals are not the same. They're just not. And again, like in Australia, you've got top-tier hospitals and you've got mid-tier hospitals, and the same thing applies here.
Ruben Terrell is the CEO of MediGuide, just one of the leading websites patients are now using to find a foreign doctor in Southeast Asia and beyond.
It started in Singapore, but has really morphed now into Thailand, Malaysia, India, Philippines. So there's just a lot more options for the healthcare consumer to find quality, price and access.
A real phenomenon emerging out of globalisation is the tendency for people to travel across borders for their healthcare. And, we want to be part of that story.
Like it or not, foreign surgery is a booming business. With our wait times getting longer and costs exploding, one leading health fund, NIB, has begun offering offshore surgical packages covering procedures including cosmetic and dental. They have plans to expand into other forms of surgery, but CEO Mark Fitzgibbon says only at fully accredited international hospitals.
We only contract with hospitals and doctors of the highest standards.
A physician here has gone through medical school, of course, in Thailand, but they've also gone and maybe trained or done fellowships in the United States or Australia or the UK. So they have to master their medical system, they have to master your language, your medical system, and then they, if you will, re-import that back into their country. And I think that this is really what makes oftentimes these doctors more global, more international, because they have seen things that maybe a US doctor or an Australian doctor may not have been just operating in their own country.
But back to our Queenslander, Bede Carmine. So, how did he go? Well, early next day, the keen surfer is up, and Dr. Winyu is all smiles.
We're very happy. And he will be very happy in the future.
The entire procedure was filmed.
And we're putting the bioabsorbable anchor, 3 of them. This is the first one.
It's like a rope.
Yes.
All up, 6 anchors were used to pull Bede's tendons back onto the bone. A complete success, we're told, and in more ways than one, given he has avoided a 3-year wait.
I'm so amazed by how quick the service was, how quick I could get everything done.
Ahead of him, 5 months of rehab.
From this point on, yeah, the journey begins. I'm on the road to recovery. Stoked.
Bede has now left hospital, and after a check-up with his doctor in Bangkok today, he tells us he's doing very well.